Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to the Real Men, Real Leaders podcast. I'm Ronaldo Mason. We're glad to have you today. Today's April the 3rd. A little windy and cloudy out today, but I tell you what, it's a good day to be upright. And we have with us a guest, somebody I've been wanting to get on for a while, a young kind of entrepreneur. He has his own business here in town, an insurance business, and I want to welcome Chandon Moreno. Chandon, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Hey, it's good being with you, Ray.
Yeah.
Especially you and Edgar. It's been great.
We appreciate that. You know, we want to bring people like yourself who are young, who are ambitious, who are, have goals. I know you've talked, we've had breakfast, we've talked a bit, and you're not a guy that just sits on his butt. You're a guy that's actually wants to do things and grow. And you're a young cat, so you got some time on your hands. So we want you to tell your story. I know you're not from Garden originally, right?
I'm from Lakin, actually.
You're from Lakin. So tell us tell us a little bit about your family. Tell us a little bit how did you get in insurance?
So I grew up actually playing baseball. I played baseball in college. My summer baseball coach, he told me one day, he said, "You're so good at talking to strangers. You need to think about being an insurance agent."
Wow.
He said, you could build good rapport with people. So I kind of just took that and ran with it. When I was going to K-State, I ended up working for a State Farm agent. Actually ended up getting fired. Just wasn't doing the service work. Quit insurance.
You learned something from it.
Oh, I did, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lazy college kid.
Yeah.
Just looking for a handout. And insurance isn't something that you just do part-time. It's something
You got to work it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it wasn't really a good fit for me. I went and actually worked at a homeless shelter throughout college. And then I did a little serving as far as like at Carlos O'Kelly's in Manhattan.
Sure.
Went out to Colorado after I graduated from K-State.
What'd you get your degree in?
Political science and economics.
Political science.
Yeah.
Wow. I never would have thought that. Doesn't matter. I'm just
Yeah, no, I was really into politics at that
time.
Yeah, I thought everybody wanted to talk about it, and then I realized it really wasn't that cool. So, and I realized, it's not something you want to talk to somebody when you're out at the bar. But so
that and religion.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I moved out to Colorado. I was trying to be a financial advisor. I got on with Waddell and Reed. I couldn't work there or get paid until I got my license. I was working at a gym, studying, pinching pennies, ended up moving back home, needed some security. So then I decided to be a claims adjuster with Shelter Insurance, which is who I'm with now. I did that for about 5 years, worked some hurricanes, worked some big losses, traveled a lot. Then I wanted something a little bit more passive. When I started out, I just wanted something, with stability.
Sure.
And a guaranteed income. So did that for a while, was working a lot, making good money. And then I realized there was an agent who I did claims for in Garden that I really liked every insured that I had to deal with. And every time I'd deal with them, I'd say, "Who's the agent here?" And it'd be that same agent. So I told him one day, I said, "Hey, if you ever end up retiring, I'd love to take over this book of business."
Good for you.
It kind of came full circle. It was a big leap. I struggled at the beginning and then just persevered. I knew I needed great staff. So right now I have Jasmine Hernandez and Adriana Mina. They're both with me. So I actually wouldn't be where I am today without them.
Yeah. And again, people need to understand that if you're going to get good at anything, you've got to put in the work, and you're going to have days. You're going to have days that you don't want to do it, but you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, or you're not going to make it.
Got to have a good team, though.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about failing. I mean, you've just mentioned a few failures. I'm sure it woke you up a little bit, and I think that drives you too. That hey, I don't want to do that again. I need to keep this thing going.
No, absolutely. I even think when I started out as an agent, I from behind the window, it looked like I was doing good, but I'd have sleepless nights wondering how I'm going to make ends meet, or and I think I just have God's favor at the end of the day.
That's awesome. I'm glad, I mentioned that because I too believe in the Lord Savior Jesus Christ, and I think he has to play I think it's not for everybody maybe, but I think God needs to be a part of your life. If you're going to go, through challenges and trials, and he's one guy you can lean on.
Can't do it alone. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to do it alone.
Yeah. And we've talked before. You said you're from Lake, and you have any brothers? I knew your dad. Kind of grew up with your dad, Mark. He was a hell of a basketball player and baseball player. He played baseball.
Yep.
I remember him, and great guy. And we hung out from time to time, but good athlete. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Oh, a lot. My uncle Aaron, I would say probably about 4 or 5 brothers, 1 sister. Big family. They lived right by the railroad tracks, going to Holcomb.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember my dad used to hit me ground balls in the alley.
Yeah.
So and taking bad hops and everything, and he'd get on me. But I think he really instilled like the hard nose mentality.
He was kind of like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say he was probably a pretty cocky guy too. But
he was cocky.
But I did take a lot from that as far as, as far as that goes, there's a lot of confidence that comes with that too.
Yeah.
As far as just believing in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to.
That's right. You got to love yourself, man. You got to believe in yourself.
So, and my mom was always there to bring me back.
That's the thing about what we do with Real Men, Real Leaders. Mothers play such a huge, important role in these boys' life, and mothers are really important, but the fathers are equally important. It said there was a statistic that I heard on TV, and it said, and I may screw this up, and you might have to Google it, but it's like 70 or 80% of convicts, their fathers were not present. I mean, that was shocking to me. And I need to look that up a little bit further and get into that. But I think there's evidence of why some of our children struggle in today's society. Not all, but some do. And we have some of those boys in Real Men, Real Leaders, and these mothers that are involved with us and have their sons come to our program. They're pretty strong women because they've got to keep the family going.
Yeah, and I've told you this before. I think it's so important having a father figure in your life. I would say I'm very grateful for what my dad instilled in me as far as being an athlete, having confidence. My mom did play probably the biggest role in my life as far as, and she's still my best friend. So my mom actually, she's a nurse at a retirement home in Lakin. And when I was growing up, she would always she would say, you got to come and meet this person. You got to come and spend some time with this person.
Nice.
And every now and then I would go, and I really wish I would have been older so I could have really appreciated that wisdom.
Yeah.
But I did. There's a lot of things as far as the perspective that I have on things. If there's nothing better than asking a wise old person, like, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a young person like me?
Yeah.
And
we don't do that, and it's sad. I don't want to put everybody in this, in lump people, but there's a lot of people that, the old folks are put in homes and, and then they're by themselves and the families don't necessarily come and see them. And I've been in and out of them, but yet these older people have a wealth of experiences and wisdom, and it's unfortunate that has to happen. Now I get it because for health reasons or things happen to families, and so I understand that. But yeah, that's a very good point. I'm glad you. I don't know if I've heard any young man say that his mom called him come down and talk to these older folks.
Yeah, I would say that woman is my hero. I don't think she's just a normal nurse. I think if you ask anybody that works with her, she's
above and beyond.
Definitely, that is what she was meant to do.
Yeah,
she's an angel, and the way she treats these people, these elderly people, the way she just plays with them, plays around with them, jokes around with them.
Yeah. And that's what they need, because a lot of times some of these families they're not there for them,
Oh, absolutely.
you know?
I think that was one of the things my mom used to always mention the most is she'd always mention whether their family was there. I actually got a chance to meet a guy who worked with Einstein. He wasn't a part of the Committee of 12, but in the Manhattan Project, but he was just below it. He was in the Cavalry. This guy was like 104, 105 years old.
Really?
Yeah. And he was just clever enough that he didn't tell me really who he was. He just made me figure it out on my own.
Really?
And when I dove into it, I learned about it. But I think he lived probably to be like 107, 108.
Amazing.
Yeah.
See that, and I said this, I bring this up in another podcast. If we would just be still and learn from other people and learn other people's stories, this world would be a lot better place, but we don't do that. You know, we tend not to do that. We stay away from, we tend to hang out with people that look like us, speak like us, talk like us. You know, we don't push ourselves to meet other people just, you know, that are different.
You said be still. I think being present is one of the biggest things, and it's something I think about every day. I tell Adriana and Jasmine, you know, when it comes to insurance, you know, it's just insurance. I mean, if you're not getting something more out of this, as far as if somebody comes in and you know that, you know, they're 60, 70 years old and that's the only thing they had to do today, you better make their day. And at the end of the day, as far as something might be going on, you might be getting a text, the phone might be ringing, but the main thing is to be focusing on these people and being present, you know, and being curious. I really think it's so important. I mean, that's probably what separates us, you know, from other agencies, or I tell them all the time, what separates us from any other agency.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not price. You know, it's about actually having a relationship.
Yeah.
Knowing these people, you know that this guy likes his receipt stapled to his check. So we should always remember that, you know. So
Those little things matter.
it does. It goes a long way.
And nowadays, you know, I hear, and I'm out and about, you know, how customer service sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sad to me. You know, if we just take the time, develop a relationship with people, get to know them and their needs, and help them in a time of need, man, it would be a better place. And we tend to be in a hurry. We live in a society a microwave society.
Yeah.
We want our stuff right now, and we don't want to wait.
Yeah.
And we're impatient, and we need to get back to where we're being still, being patient, and hear more than we speak, because we have a tendency to speak a lot more than we sit down and, you know, pay attention and hear somebody out. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool. So I know you, part of it, I know you work out.
I do.
Right.
I do. Yeah.
Well, and tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I'm sure you work out because it not only makes you physically look good, but you feel good, and probably mentally, it does you good too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, going through that suffering is really important.
That hard
Yeah,
grind there.
definitely good for the mental. As far as working out goes, I mean, sometimes, you know, I like to go work out in the morning before I get to work. And one thing I always try to make a point to do is I like to be at the office before anybody else gets there.
Yeah.
So working out before that is really important. But I just think, you know, I'm 31 years old, so I'm in my prime, I guess.
You are?
So just making the most out of that as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, I got it. I used to play baseball in college, but I probably work out, or I take the gym more serious than I probably ever have, I would say. So
Yeah, well, I bring that up because in order to be successful, I mean, to a degree, it's important to work out, and your what you put in your mouth, what you drink too, are equally important.
yeah,
Because if you don't function, your business does not function,
absolutely.
right?
Makes a big difference. And I would say the first thing I would tell any young kid is to fall in love with the gym. Because, I mean, when somebody walks in the door and they see a guy who is fit, or, you know, put together. You could tell he works out. He's automatically going to have a little respect for you. He's automatically going to think, this guy,
Yeah.
knows how to set a regimen and sticks to it. And I think that it says a lot, and it goes a long way.
On some Wednesdays I do a class with our boys, and yesterday we were talking about food, and this summer we're going to have a summer program that's going to concentrate on the physical, the mental, and can't think of the word. I want to say nourishment, but that's not the term. So physical, mental, and then basically what you're feeding your body. Okay. Yeah. And these young kids need to know, because it's unfortunate, but they do eat a lot of crap. I mean, I probably did too when we were young. I'm sure we did. But as you get older, you realize, man, if you want to be at top of your game, you got to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and then what you're eating. And if you don't do those things, and on a regular basis, I'm going to say you have to do this every day.
Yeah, moderation.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days a week would be great. 3 days a week would be great. Yeah. But pay attention to your body and listen to your body. I was telling them that how to walk in a room, okay? Because a lot of these guys, of our boys, and to me, it's a lack of self-confidence. They'll walk in with their head down, or, and I said, get your head picked up, put your chest out, act like you own the room.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And people will say, wow, this, people pay attention to you a little more. But when you got your head down, your pants are sagging, and your baseball cap's lopsided, they're gonna think you're a clown.
Absolutely.
I have to take you serious.
Yeah, everybody stereotypes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
For as sad as it
and the
sounds.
First impressions,
yeah, you want people to feel that energy.
Yeah.
You want them to see that little bit of God in you, or feel that little bit of God in you.
Absolutely. So insurance, you love it. You're doing good at it. Is there anything? What could you share with the people out there? And it doesn't matter how young or old. It doesn't matter. What could you share to help? What it took for you to be where you're at, and you've still got a ways to go, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only 31.
Yeah.
And you're young. You're single. Okay, so you got an huge opportunity to maximize your opportunities financially, professionally, spiritually, physically. I mean, what would you say to people out there that maybe lack the confidence or lack encouragement? I mean, what helped you? I mean, you said it earlier. I think part of it was perseverance.
I mean, I think there's nothing that I've done really that has came directly from me. It's all about listening to people, asking questions, not trying to not be the smartest person in the room.
Right. That's good. That's good advice. Yeah.
Having a mentor and actually being open, not thinking, hey, this is the way I think about it, but just having perspective and knowing like, oh, I've always thought about it that way. I should probably actually think about it a little different way.
Yeah.
I really like that. Or that's not for me. I know that doesn't fit me. So I just try to take a little bit from people, whether it's another agent or whether it's a banker, or I think it's really important to have centers of influence as far as whether it's somebody like you or somebody like Edgar.
I like that.
I think that's very important. And that really creates a funnel. Because I think the main thing is building a machine. And that machine, you oiling that machine, but it's always running. I think, as far as, I guess you could say time is money, but money will never buy you time. And I think that's so important.
Right, because we won't get this time back.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's gone, right? I mean,
instead of sitting here thinking
money you can replace, time you can't.
Yeah, and instead of sitting here thinking about what I'm going to do after this, or what I have to still do tonight, or the busy schedule I got tomorrow, actually, being still. I think, like you said earlier, being still, it's so important. And I think people really appreciate that, especially when they have all of your attention.
Yeah, when I try to be still, usually in the morning, when I get up, or even before I go to bed, just contemplating the day and gearing up for the next day. But meditating, I'm going to try to get better at it, but they say meditating is really can help people out. And so I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
And then being still also when you're interacting with somebody, let them talk, man. Listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
I don't care if it has to do with business or it's a friend or somebody in need, because they'll tell you. Most people will tell you. You just got to keep your mouth shut and let people talk.
Yeah, I honestly think that's probably one of the biggest problems I had as a young kid. Was always I still love
chattering,
to
right?
Yeah, but actually, listening, trying to learn. If you're talking, you're saying stuff you already know, and if you're listening, you might find that little nugget that's gonna, that'd be a good idea, and then just acting on it. I think that's the biggest thing is acting on something. Is when you get that knack of maybe I should try this. You should try it. You better try it because that's
making the decision.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we don't make it, and then we regret it.
Or somebody tells you one thing that it's like, but you have to worry about this, and it's like, oh, you're right, that'll never work. Instead of I'm gonna do this.
You hit on something that's I think we all do that. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten away from it. To be honest with you, I don't mean this in a mean way, but I could care less what people say.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because if I paid attention to everybody trying to give me advice or say no, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today. Not that I'm this great guy, because I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm just trying to be a guy that's doing good. That's all I am. So are you. So is Edgar. But
as long as
but that's big. That you're right. And don't let other people define you.
Absolutely.
Because ain't none of us that are golden.
There's always going to be people out there that think they know you better than you know yourself. So
that's true. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Chandon. We'll have you back. Chandon Moreno, Shelter Insurance. If you need any insurance needs, right? And what kind of what do you, as far as options in your office, what do you have?
Yeah, so we do a lot of home and auto. Whether it's somebody who owns rentals, we have really good rates for rental properties. General liability, life insurance. Even if it's just one vehicle will help somebody.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can't. I mean, we don't spend a lot of time on like the banking side or anything of that, but when it comes to getting, meeting people, learning what they need or what they're asking for, and then putting it all together, because really at the end of the day, if we have one auto with somebody or somebody has one auto with us, we're probably not going to keep them a long time. I mean, we don't want somebody's business for 6 months or a year. We want to have a relationship with them for, whether it's 6 or 10 years. And if somebody leaves us, that's the biggest thing for us, is making sure that we don't close that door. Yeah. Hey, even 6 months from now, if I know you're switching, I know you're going to somebody else, but even 6 months from now, if you just have a question, if you just call me.
Yeah, leave that door open, regardless what the situation is.
Or if you don't have a good experience with them, call me. We'll figure it.
I will tell you, Shannon helped me out one time. I'm not going to get specific about it, but it was a real estate deal, and we were supposed to close the very next day, and Shannon came to the rescue and helped the client out. We were able to go ahead and close that deal on a real estate transaction. So I'm telling you, he's a real deal. He'll try to help if he can, and we're just glad to have you, Shannon. I want to thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah.
And we'll do this again.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Please stay tuned for more. And we're going to have more guests, from our community. Like I always say, if you're interested in being on this podcast, let us know. Let me know. Get a hold of me, because we'd love to have you. And we intend to have some of our young boys that are in our program come on, because really it's about them but also we want to bring people like Chandon and leaders in the community, people who are doing well, whether it's in business, whether it's in the community itself or nonprofit, it doesn't matter. We want these people to know that there's a lot of possibilities out there in our community, and these people we're bringing on be glad to visit with our young boys, probably at any time, to answer any question they may have, because these young boys are inquisitive and they just need help, and as they get older, and that's what we're all about. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.